So I say, let's keep it short and sweet.
Welcome to the short book cult, where the reads are tiny but the stories are massive. This week, I swam with a murderous mermaid, got adopted by a wine-wielding nun-cult, toured the world through poetry, and lay awake questioning existence like a caffeinated Victorian ghost. Grab your anxiety blanket and a glass of whatever isn't from Cremoria Vineyard, and let's get into it. The first book I read was Into the Grey by Margaret Killjoy, and this was 22 pages. A Mermaid, a Thief, and the Cost of Desire. "You're using me," I said. "That might be true, but I also love you." One is the Lady of the Waking Waters, an immortal mermaid. The other is a thief who steals lives until a wish can be fulfilled and a life-changing choice must be made. In this book, you follow a trans woman who's in love with a man-eating mermaid and is trying to find a way to go down on a fish forever. This book is less about the romance and killing bad men and more about self-actualization and growth. I thought it was good, but personally, I wanted to know more about the wish-fulfilling witch than the mermaid and the thief. That's the character that caught my interest the most. So this, it was good but not great for me. Oh my god, my cat's in the closet. The next book I read is Ground Tour by Eliza Gonzalez. This came in at 86 pages. It's a passport through memory, grief, and green-tinted wine. Eliza Gonzalez takes us on a world tour, not of glamorous sights, but of emotional baggage claim. She pours white wine, flirts with mortality, mourns things we didn't realize we should be sad about, and somehow still finds time to panic about trumpet blossoms being culled. Each poem is like opening a suitcase you forgot you packed. Messy, meaningful, and full of unexpected souvenirs from Cyprus, Puerto Rico, Poland, and Ohio. There are sexy bits, sad bits, weird bits, family anecdotes, and the question of how do we keep loving the world when it's such a beautiful mess of joy and horror. I will read you one of the poems from the book so you can get a taste of what it's like. After my brother's death, I reflect on the Iliad. The water cuts out while shampoo still clogs my hair. The nurse who swabs my nose hopes I don't have the virus. It's a bitch. The building across from the cemetery calls itself Life Storage. My little brother was shot. I tell the barista who asks how things have been, and tip extra for her inconvenience. We speak only to the dead, someone tells me. To comfort, I assume, or inspire. But I take it literally as I am wont. Even my shut up and fuck and let's cook tonight. Those are for you, Stephen. You won't come to me in my dreams, so I must communicate by other avenues. A friend sends an image from Cy Twombly's 50 Days at Ilium. A red bloom, the words, "like a fire that consumes all before it," and asks, "Have you seen this? It's at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. If I have, I can't remember, though I did visit, with you, when you were 11 or 12, when you tripped silent alarm after silent alarm, skating out of each room as guards jostled in, and I, though charged with keeping you from trouble, joined the game, and the whole time we never laughed, not till we were released into the grand air we couldn't touch and could. You were dead at 22. As I rinse dishes, fumble for keys, buy kale and radishes, in my ear Priam repeats, 'I have kissed the hand of the man who killed my son.' Would I do that?" I ask as I pass the store labeled "Signs, Signs." I've studied the mugshot of the man who killed you. I can imagine his hands. Of course I would. Each finger even. To hold your body again and to resurrect you? Who knows what I am capable of. If I were, nights I replay news footage, your blood on asphalt sheen behind caution tape, Homer's similes I've been told are holes cut in the cloth between the world of war and another, more peaceful world. On rereading, I find even there a man kills his neighbor. Let Achilles cut me down, as soon as I have taken my son into my arms and have satisfied my desire for grief. This, my mind's new refrain, in the pharmacy queue, in the train's rattling frame. The same friend and I discuss A Line by Zygmunt Herbert, where a distant fire is burning, like a page of the Iliad. It's nearly an ontological question, my friend says. The instability of reference. The fires in the pages of the poem. The literal page set afire. We see double. You are the boy in the museum. You are the body consumed. Ash. Alone in a London museum, I saw a watercolour of twin flames, one black, one a gauzy red, only to learn the title is Boats at Sea. It's like how sometimes I forget you're gone, but it's not like that, is it? Not at all. When in this world, similes carry us nowhere. And now I see again the boy pelting through those galleries, a boy not you, a flash of red chasing or being chased. Or did I invent him? Mischief companion, brother, listen to me. Plead for your life even though in the dream I know you're already dead. How do I ensure my desire for grief is never satisfied? Was Priam's ever? I tell my friend I want the page itself to burn. The next book that I read was Sisters of the Crimson Vine by P.L. Macmillan. This is on 110 pages. Faith, fermentation, and flesh. John survives a nasty car crash, only to wake up in what can be described as the world's creepiest Airbnb. It's a crumbling convent run by 13 nuns, who seem like they skipped the vows and went straight to witchy wine cult. They nurse him back to health though, a little too well, like Wolverine level healing. Red flag? More like red grapes. As John limps around, two church auditors show up to poke into the convent's sketchy finances. The sisters are less than thrilled, and John starts to realize that their annual ritual probably isn't just about vintage bottling. Cue suspicious miracles, grape-themed horror, and the dawning suspicion that the communion wine is more than just what's on the label. I'm going to start by saying I absolutely loved the cover of this book. I think it's gorgeous. The book itself was giving me Wicker Man and Midsummer vibes. I was very much pro the church, who turned their back on all the women in this convent and left them to starve to death. But then once the convent was starting to turn a profit, back they came with their palms turned out to take their cut. The nuns, though, are none too happy to give the church a piece of their pie after having been abandoned by them previously. The remote setting in the crumbling cathedral definitely reinforces a psychological and physical, feeling of being trapped, and it contributes to the building dread that is surrounding the upcoming wine harvest, which is not just about squishing grapes.
And wine tasting.
Stop! Oh! 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 Oh!
What is in the wine, sisters? What's in the wine? I found that the writing itself was very simple, and the horror doesn't really kick in till right at the end, in which it becomes quite body and cosmic horror. I was a bit squeamish when I read it. It was a bit full on, having had previously only this just sense of dread and anticipation of what was going to happen when it finally did. It was like, oof, eesh, ouch. It's quite folkloric and Lovecraftian horror. The book is predictable. It is predictable. You know what's going to happen, but it's enjoyable. And I say cheers to the Cremoria Convent. The final book I read is The Shapeless Unease, A Year of Not Sleeping by Samantha Harvey, which is 194 pages. Insomnia, now with added philosophy and emotional devastation. This is a genre-bending insomnia memoir where Harvey chronicles a full year of losing sleep. One night and day stretch terrifyingly into the next. Think meditative essays, flash fiction fragments, and a dash of philosophy. Her insomnia begins with a trigger. It is the news of Brexit and the tragic death of her cousin, and it ends up snowballing into a year-long spiral of interminable 3 a.m.s. She tries everything. Meds, therapy, weird diets, moving houses, nothing helps. I really enjoyed this book. It was a beautiful Ouroboros, philosophical, time-warping thoughts and musings about mortality, grief, guilt, and the slow, quiet madness of being awake when the world is asleep. It's part memoir, part existential crisis, part stream of consciousness therapy session. I think that she captured insomnia so well. Bravo. I'm going to read you a little bit of the book, but as I said, it does run from one kind of form into the next, as your brain is wont to do in a state of severe sleeplessness and delirium. There's something called nocturnal forgiveness, which is the act of letting go of all wrongs and all guilt or blame, just for the duration of the night. You leave them outside the room. I forgive everything I can think of one by one. The cars driving past too fast. The jackdaws for ransacking the bird feeder. The universe for torturing me. Myself for torturing me. What I suddenly think of is my dad plaiting my hair when I was 9 years old. In the first few weeks after my mum left. Plaiting my hair with his huge, scarred, leathery builder's hands. I'll just leave it there. Some people count sheep. Samantha Harvey, on the other hand, wrote a lyrical breakdown. I absolutely resonated with this. I thought it was fantastic. Relatable but poetic. Just masterfully done. So, highly recommend. As usual, for my short books reading vlog, I'm going to sum up the books I read by giving you the TLDR version of each. So we have Into the Grey by Margaret Killjoy. A thief who steals lives falls for an immortal mermaid. Love, lies, and one dangerous wish blur the line between survival and surrender in this bittersweet queer fantasy. Grand Tour by Eliza Gonzalez is a lush, emotionally charged poetry collection about love, grief, identity, and trying to stay tender in a brutal world. Think global travel meets personal unraveling with wine. Sisters of the Crimson Vine by P.L. Macmillan. Man survives a car crash, wakes up in a creepy convent with winemaking nuns who heal him way too fast. Church auditors show up, rituals get weird, and the vineyard might be running on something other than grapes. Blessed be, and maybe run. The Shapeless Unease, A Year of Not Sleeping by Samantha Harvey. Samantha Harvey doesn't sleep for a year, and instead of watching Netflix like the rest of us, she writes a lyrical, fragmented, mind-bending memoir about insomnia, mortality, and the slow erosion of time. So what did I learn from this reading vlog? Stealing lives might get you a girlfriend with gills. Wine isn't always vegan. Poetry is therapy, and sleep is for the emotionally stable. If you're also being held together by vibes and weird books, tell me which short book saved your month in the comments. And until next time, read short and spiral fast. This vlog's perfume is Chance You Fresh by Chanel Fresh. I didn't look up how to pronounce that French word before starting. We have top notes of lemon, cedar, and citron. The opening is very bright, brisk, and clean. The lemon and citrus are sharp and luminous, but they're rounded off by the dry woodiness of the cedar. It's not juicy so much as it is sparkling, like spritzed linen or sunlight on glass. The heart notes are water hyacinth, pink pepper, and jasmine. The water hyacinth gives the perfume a very cool, dewy backbone. It's aquatic without being marine. The pink pepper brings warmth and fizz, like a sparkling mineral water, and jasmine softens things with its sheer petal-like sweetness. The base notes are white musk, patchouli, vetiver, teakwood, iris, and amber. You get the light, musky, earthy green patchouli, and vetiver gives a scent of staying power and elegance. The teakwood and iris smooth the edges with a creamy, dry glow, and the amber adds a barely there warmth. It's like golden hour on bare shoulders. This, to me, the first thing that I thought of when I smelled this was of a freshly shaven man in a clean white shirt, a tailored blazer, walking through a sunlit office. So the book that I'm going to pair this with is Stoner by John Williams, which is probably a quintessential novel of ordinary life. It's about a quiet, overlooked university professor who lives a life of small hopes and disappointments. It's reserved elegance and emotional discipline, which is why it matches a fragrance for someone who endures with grace. The activity, I've got Sylvia on my lap. The activity that I'm doing today is I'm going to a big party. It's a 40th birthday party of a girl I went to school with. My mum is coming with me since her mum and my mum are besties, and I don't really know anybody else there. I think there are some other girls from our school that will also be there. So we'll see how I go. I don't think I'll stay long, but yes, going to a 40th celebration this evening. But I'll say goodbye. So until next time, get shorty, Star Child. Yes.
You tried to make it short and sweet.